Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel, where we dive deep into the world of coins, collectibles, and they're the 1981p Jefferson nickel, also known as the United States 5-cent coin minted in Philadelphia, is a small yet significant part of American numismatic history. It carries a design that has remained mostly unchanged for decades, and represents a continuation of the long legacy of the Jefferson nickel series, which started in 1938. The coin was designed by Felix Schlag, who won a public competition for its creation. On the obverse, it features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. The inscriptions on the obverse read, "In God We Trust" on the left, Liberty followed by the date 1981 on the right, and the mint mark P below it, signifying the Philadelphia Mint. Due to a design quirk or whim, some coins may appear to have Libifty instead of Liberty, which often sparks collector curiosity but is usually not rare. On the reverse side, the coin proudly displays Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home, rendered in a neoclassical architectural style. Above the image is the Latin motto E pluribus unum, which means out of many, one. Beneath Monticello is the denomination 5 cents and the inscription, United States of America. The reverse encapsulates Jefferson's legacy, and is a tribute to both his political impact and his architectural genius. The Jefferson nickel is composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, weighing exactly 5 grams and measuring 21.2 millimeters in diameter. It has a smooth plain edge and was produced in large quantities in 1981, over 500 million pieces from the Philadelphia Mint alone, making it a common coin in circulation. However, its historical value and collectible interest depend heavily on the coin's condition, mint mark, and any unique features such as die cracks, doubled, dies, or off-center strikes. The term Liberty, fraternite, is French and typically associated with the national motto of France, not the United States. But it might be mentioned here metaphorically to describe the universal values of democracy and equality that both France and America share. It does not appear on the 1981 nickel itself, but can be seen as a thematic expression of the values Jefferson stood for. The phrase Republique le Griffel is not connected to the U.S. Mint or this coin, but it may be a misinterpreted or combined phrase from different coinage, possibly referring to modern European coin engravers like Joaquin Jimenez or Pierre Rodier Lagier if foul. As for the minting history, the 1981p Jefferson nickel comes from an era when the U.S. Mint was still producing these coins primarily for commerce rather than collectors. That said, uncirculated or high-grade examples, especially those graded MS-65 or higher by organizations like PCGS or NGC, can fetch premium prices. Proof versions were struck at the San Francisco Mint and carry the S Mint mark, while business strikes from Denver are marked with a D. From a historical standpoint, 1981 was the final full year before significant design changes and coin composition discussions began in the 1980s, largely due to rising metal costs. While this particular coin may not be rare, it holds its value in collections due to its enduring design, political symbolism, and the familiarity it brings to American pocket change. For collectors, finding a well-struck 1981p nickel with full steps on Monticello, which means all the steps are clearly visible, is a coveted addition and often commands better value. In conclusion, the 1981p Jefferson nickel is not just a small coin, it's a piece of everyday American life that carries the ideals of Jefferson's legacy, a tribute to mid-20th century design, and a continuing part of U.S. coinage history. While common in circulation, it becomes increasingly valued by collectors when preserved in pristine condition or featuring unique minting errors. It remains a symbolic and accessible relic from the early 1980s. Economic and political landscape of the United States. The next up top to the 2000p Jefferson nickel, denominated as 5 cents, is a fascinating artifact in the rich tapestry of American numismatics, minted by the United States Mint in Philadelphia, as denoted by the P mint mark. The obverse of the coin bears a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and principal author of the Declaration of Independence. Designed by German-American sculptor Felix Schlag in 1938, the Jefferson nickel remained largely unchanged in design until the Westward Journey series of 2004, 2006. The inscriptions on the obverse include, "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," alongside the year 2000 and the Philadelphia Mint mark P. Though Libifty is sometimes noted in error coins due to weak or misaligned strikes, this is often a misinterpretation rather than intentional. The reverse features Jefferson's iconic home, Monticello, centered prominently with classic neo-architecture. It is flanked above by the Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one, and below by the denomination 5 cents and the country of origin, United States of America. The Jefferson nickel from this year was composed of a copper-nickel alloy, 75% copper, 25% nickel, and measured 21.2 millimeters in diameter with a mass of 5.0 grams. while the literal inscriptions are grounded in American ideals and language. The added phrase, Liberty Eaglite, fraternit French for liberty, equality, fraternity though not actually on the coin, may be artistically or symbolically invoked to reflect universal Enlightenment values shared between revolutionary France and early America. Likewise, the word Republic and the name Le Griffel do not appear on U.S. coinage. Republic is associated with the French Republic, and Le Griffel is possibly a stylized or mistaken reference, perhaps conflated with artists like Philippe Starck or other French designers. These inclusions may symbolize a broader philosophical lens, blending American patriotism with the universal democratic principles that transcend national borders. Some may interpret the use of such terms as a poetic reflection on the shared democratic aspirations of the U.S. and France, two nations historically tied through revolution, philosophy, and diplomacy. Numismatically, the 2000p Jefferson nickel is relatively common, with a total mintage exceeding 720 million coins. As such, its standard value remains at face value in circulated condition. However, examples in uncirculated condition, MS60 and above, especially with full steps a grading term referring to sharply struck lines on Monticello's steps, can fetch modest premiums from collectors. The presence of full steps can increase a coin's value to a few dollars, particularly in high grades such as MS65 or higher. Errors from this year, such as double dies, off-center strikes, or planchette errors, are rarer and can be significantly more valuable depending on severity and collector interest. In summary, the 2000p Jefferson nickel is not just a 5-cent piece but a pocket-sized tribute to the legacy of Thomas Jefferson and the values of liberty and unity that the U.S. has long cherished. Whether viewed strictly through the lens of American coinage, or through a more symbolic and artistic interpretation, incorporating Enlightenment values and philosophical reflections, this coin holds both material and ideological worth. As with many circulated modern coins, its intrinsic metal value may not be high, but its educational, historical, and cultural relevance makes it an excellent piece for collectors, educators, and history enthusiasts alike. And when interpreted in broader context, blending American mottos like "In God We Trust" with universal ideals like liberty, eaglite, fraternit,